Welcome back to Peace, Love and Tarot. This reading is for Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Gemini, this is your weekly intuitive tarot reading for April 20th to the 26th. The cards we have for you this week, we have the Imrama Oracle card and we have the Bhakti Oracle card behind that. We have the Knight of Wands, the Magician, the Eight of Cups, the Nine of Swords, the Seven of Pentacles, and the Eight of Wands. So 2 8s in your reading today, Gemini. So, really about that sense of mastery, self-mastery, coming into a place of power as a magician here this week. Really reassessing where you may have put your time and energy in the past and what you've actually received back from that, and maybe making new decisions now to invest your time and energy into meaningful things that are really going to propel your life into a place that you want it to go. I think a lot of us are going through that kind of awakening at the moment. So before we go to the tarot, guys, I'm just going to head over to the oracle cards. So we have Bhakti here. Now, this is from the Yogic Path deck, and Bhakti really is about spiritual devotion. Some of you might be feeling a lot more spiritual at this time, or be called to, really seek within. Some of you might be almost going through a little bit of a hermit phase during this self-isolation where, you're looking for the answers within, you're really reassessing where you're at in your life, and you might be feeling, being called to, meditate or to deepen whatever spiritual practices you have. So I think some of you might be feeling a deeper connection with spirit at the moment. And we also have the Imrama Oracle card here as well, which asks you, where are you being called to journey to? So these are both quite sort of spiritual cards here. I'm just going to read that one out, guys, before we go to the tarot. The Celtic word Imrama means a journey of the soul, a voyage on which we don't know where we're going, but only our soul knows the way. If you pulled this card, you are either being called on a soul journey or are already on one. When we journey to places that our soul remembers, a shift takes place, both within us and to the planet as well. You're being called to journey to a place that is sacred to your soul. Perhaps it is a journey to one of the world's sacred sites. Probably not at the moment, guys, with the travel restrictions, but let's just look at these as metaphors. Or called to cross the country, climb a mountain, lie on the desert floor, or drink from an ancient world. There are places to see and old friends to meet. I see spontaneous pilgrimages in your future. If a physical voyage isn't possible, journey through the portal of your heart, follow the invisible soul trail, and be willing to explore. Yeah, look, it's really about a journey back to your sense of self here this week, Gemini, with that Oracle card, and really coming back to what is really meaningful for you. I'm strongly feeling that with those two cards. So, yeah, because we can see in your recent past here, I just really feel like that Gemini just had a flat battery, so just gave it a quick 10-minute charge, and we're back here again. So, what I'm saying about your recent past here is that I see some sense of worry or stress or anxiety over where you've put your time and energy and effort, just not delivering what you'd hoped for, or not meeting your expectations. We've got the Nine of Swords here and the Seven of Pentacles. So, this could be something that's been kind of bubbling away under the surface for a while, this realization, or potentially it could be because of, obviously what we're facing at the moment, self-isolation, all these kinds of things. Finally having the time to slow down and stop and go through a sense of reflection or reevaluation in your life, and maybe, reassessing what's important to you, what's meaningful, and maybe looking from the outside and thinking, wow, I've actually just been putting all my time and effort into a relationship that's not aligned with me, a job where I'm not getting paid what I'm worth, or I'm not getting the recognition, or there's no progression in it for me. I've been, putting effort and being an overgiver in friendships with people that are just not giving back to me. It's all these kinds of realizations, or maybe it's a realization of, hey, I work really hard, but I'm over-consuming. I'm just spending all my money. I'm not getting anywhere in life, but that's what I need to do to make myself feel better about, all the hard work that I put in. I'm seeing a really big sense of reassessment in your life of that time and effort, energy, where it goes, and maybe feeling a little bit overwhelmed by what you're seeing in the sense of reflection, because you might be seeing that, hey, look, you know what, I think I've been putting it in the wrong places, or, you know, I was setting myself up with all these expectations that were never going to be met, and you're finally seeing it for what it is. That can be the Nine of Swords. You might be going through a period where, you know, you feel like it's all a bit stacked up against you. Like I said, feeling overwhelmed, or maybe over-analyzing. I think it's really important during this time, especially if you are self-isolating, is to not get caught in the mind, to not spend all your time thinking and over-analyzing and intellectualizing. It's more about, okay, what can I do now to move forward? But also, more importantly, how can I be now? Maybe that is being calmer, being more still, connecting with spirit, connecting with your higher self, and then everything else will fall into place. The Seven of Pentacles shows somebody who has put in a lot of effort, but hasn't really gotten back the reward that they'd hoped for. Or, even if they have been getting some sense of reward, it's not the reward that they'd hoped for. This person here is getting Pentacles. Maybe, you have a certain amount of physical resources in your life, but maybe what you're missing is love. Maybe that's what you're missing. So it's a reevaluation of time, effort, and energy, and now wanting to put it where it is truly meaningful and where you're going to be truly fulfilled. Because we have the Eight of Cups in your reading here, and the Eight of Cups shows somebody who is walking away from situations that are no longer emotionally fulfilling for them. So I really feel that, this is a reassessment of situations that are just not delivering on an emotional level. And, it's a general reading, guys. That's why I'm reading it very generally. But, of course, it can be in our relationships. It can be in our work. It can be in our friendship groups. And you'll know what it is for you. We see here this person has 8 cups lined up. So it's not like the situation has been completely unfulfilling, forever. I feel like there was initially a sense of fulfillment in it. Maybe it was a honeymoon phase with the job, with the relationship, whatever it was. However, I think as you've gotten further down the track in this situation, you've started to see where the holes are, and you've realized that there are fundamental pieces missing, or maybe just one piece, but that piece is a non-negotiable for you. It might be attached to a very important value for you. Maybe you're in a relationship with somebody who doesn't want a family, and that's something you absolutely want. And you might have a lot of love for that person, but if you're not aligned with something huge like that, that's going to be a significant, it's going to be your next chapter, it's going to be your future, then unfortunately we usually have to walk away from those situations. It's that kind of piece that's missing. It's a very fundamental piece. And I feel that, you've already made that decision to at least pull back your energy from it in the recent past. But now this week is when you really start to go, okay, well, I'm actually going to take those first tentative steps to walk away from the situation, but to walk towards that 9 and 10 of Cups. I'm going to off to find my missing piece now. And I think if you're really honest with yourself, Gemini, and you really tune in, that moon there signifies your intuition. I think you've known this in your gut for a while. Some of us choose to kind of ignore it and push it down for a little while, maybe get on with the distracting ourselves and that sort of thing. But now that we're getting into a time of quiet, those voices from our higher self are really shouting at us to now make the big changes in our lives that are really going to serve us better in the long run. I really feel like you're having a big awakening to, your sense of power as the creator of your own reality now. That is the Magician energy. The Magician energy is an awakening to the fact that you have everything within yourself in order to go off and find that missing cup, to create your reality as you want it, and to call in the energy of the 9 and 10 of Cups, which is, wish fulfillment, living your best life, having it all, being abundant, being full of joy, love, happiness, and harmony. And sometimes to get to that, we need to leave things behind. We need to leave behind the things that, caused us stress or worry, or that didn't deliver, as hard as that is. That's the magician's game. He or she does that because that creates space for manifestation, space for creation and new beginnings. So yeah, this week I think you're going to be really waking up to the fact that you've got everything you need. This magician has all the tools, the energy of all of the suits of the tarot, the earthly, physical resources of the pentacle, the emotional, love, joy, self-love, fulfillment from the cup, the intellect with the sword, and the action and power and spirituality from the wand. So the other thing with the magician energy, they say as above, so below. What that really means for me is that however your internal game is, your internal state, that's the place that you're attracting from, and that's what you're going to, attract as a match in your life. So you really want to make sure that you're projecting out, your best possible vibration, your best possible energy, which means releasing these kind of feelings of fear and worry, lack, scarcity, because otherwise we do attract from that place, and we can bring in things with a similar energy signature. So maybe it's really about raising your vibration, and maybe that is done through through bhakti, through devotion, through getting back in contact with your sense of spirituality to lift your vibration. And then that's the frequency you're putting out there, and you're going to be attracting in high vibrational people, situations, experiences into your life. But I love the magician. It's a big awakening of power. It's about you being, given or gifted this wand of power from the universe. And it's almost like, now has wand, will use it. And that's what I see here. I mean, we've got the Knight of Wands and the Eight of Wands. I just feel that once you have that awakening, Gemini, there's going to be no stopping you, and you're going to be charging forward at a great pace, making great progress this week. If the magician is, getting this wand and learning how to use it, the Knight of Wands is then, right, okay, well, I'm just going to charge forth now that I know how to create, I know how to manifest with this thing, I know how to bring myself to the next stage in life. The Knight of Wands has the 3 sand dunes here. It's a little nod to manifestation as well. And the Knight of Wands is somebody who is, really willing to take that inspired action to, propel himself or herself forward. It's about progress, swift progress, this combination here, and also about, a renewed sense of passion, enthusiasm, and spirituality, and energy and zest for life again. And the Eight of Wands, it's also a card of progress, very swift change, swift project. Maybe it is a project for some of you. Progress. So there's really going to be a big shift, I feel. The Eight of Wands can also be, a message or a communication. The Knights can be messengers as well. So there could be a communication coming through that somehow helps you, move on from this past situation into your next chapter. It could come through a fire sign, Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. It could also come through like phone, electronic communication, SMS, social media, or that kind of thing, and even more so at this time since we're not really having a lot of physical contact with people. But it's your second number 8 in the reading. There is a sense of coming into your power, your personal power at the moment, and really leaving behind those situations where you might have been forced into overgiving or backing down or being disconnected from your higher self or personal power in some way. Now, I wanted a bit more information. I sort of asked, okay, where is this heading? We've got the swift change, we've got this quick progress forward. So I did draw another card, and I've got the Queen of Pentacles. So what I'm taking from this is that you're moving forward to much more stable, abundant, and secure times. The Queen of Pentacles is the partner of the King of Pentacles, and they together are the masters of abundance creation. They have all the, the earthly resources at their disposal, and they understand the equation of, focusing on something that truly is on purpose for them in order to expand that into success. And then, of course, the money, the physical assets and all that follows suit. I mean, here we have someone who looks very complacent about putting the energy into these pentacles, but the Queen of Pentacles does something she loves, connects with the people she loves, the work she loves, all of that sort of thing, so that then she can really put all her focus on that, and through that she builds this beautiful sense of abundance. There's always a sense of commitment and trust with the Queen and King of Pentacles as well. It's time for you to commit to the things that you really can focus on and follow through on, and that's when you are going to achieve not only the Pentacles physical financial success, but also you'll feel fulfilled as well, and you'll really start to attract in people and other experiences that are aligned with that also. Okay, Gemini, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you enjoyed the reading. Do keep in mind it's a general reading, so it won't be for every one of you guys. Leave me a comment. Always love to know how it's playing out in your daily life, and I'll see you back here next week for another reading.